Today we find out why just servicing a Bugatti Veyron costs a ridiculous amount of money. It's mostly down to stuff like this. We are here at Simon Furlonger, as these guys are the go-to workshop in the UK to get your Veyron serviced. Their bread and butter is Ferrari and Lamborghini. They're famous for having F50s completely split in two, just chilling on the shop floor. But they've recently turned their attention to these W16 big boys. A service of my Rover is about £100. What about a major service for a 911? They're about £1,000. What do you reckon a Bugatti Veyron? Just a bit more than a Porsche? No, a lot more than the Porsche. Today, we're going to investigate what goes into a £20,000 service on one of these. For many of us, it's the dream car. 8-litre W16 quad turbo, 1,001 horsepower, 253 miles an hour. Let's look into the ownership experience of one of these things. And currently there are 3 Veyrons and 3 EB110s being serviced in the workshop today. Feeling kind of lucky. The Veyron service here is incredibly thorough. Bring your Bugatti here and Furlonger will remove all panels to inspect the vehicle, give it a full clean of all mechanical components, an engine oil and filter change, gearbox oil change and replacement of filters, front and rear differential oil replacement, Haldex oil replacement, pollen filter replacement, engine air filter replacement, brake fluid replacement, full inspection and report of vehicle, chassis and body control modules, and every vehicle will then receive a full body suspension and interior detail. So why does it cost 20 grand for an oil service on a Veyron? Well, there's the 8-litre W16 engine creating 1,001 horsepower. As you can imagine, that needs quite a lot of oil. It's said between 16 to 18 litres of oil needs to go into that thing. And that all depends on how much you manage to drain out of it. To even start your oil change, you need to gain access to all the drain plugs, and that means removing the legendary flat floor of the Veyron. There's 3 sections. There's a front section over there, there's a mid section, and this is the monstrous rear section. We could show you the nice carbon side, but actually it's cooler to see this side, a side you've probably never seen of a Veyron. Got some of the heat damage here from the cats, all the kind of oil and detritus that's got in there, and all the little aerodynamic inlets all across it. So cool. Part of the oil service is of course the transmission, and some of those filters we looked at earlier, those aerospace ones, they go in here. They are to be changed annually and they cost around £1,000 each. And again, you're having to remove panel after panel to even get to them. The big ticket item in Bugatti's recommended service is the gearbox oil pump. It goes in there and that is roughly £3,000. Bugatti says every single year you should be changing that out. Madness. Then the air filters. To even start that, you need to take off the entire rear clamshell that comes off and round the rear wing, and then remove the incredibly iconic fin intakes either side. This is a job we are about to do. Once you've added up all of this, all of the labor of removing all those panels and doing all of those jobs, you're talking 4 or 5 days, 27 man hours roughly. Suddenly, you've spent 20 grand. It seems over the top, but flipping it on its head, Bugatti wants their cars to be capable of doing 250 miles an hour on any given day that their owners see fit. And part of that is making sure the engine is properly lubricated and the transmission is transmitting that power properly. Although unless your commute includes an autobahn, 20 grand a year for that one day when you manage to open the taps on probably an airfield is kind of punchy. So Chris, this is a bit of a service kit for a Veyron here. We've got air filters, engine oil filter,
yeah.
And then these are interesting. So these are transmission fluid filters.
They gearbox oil filters. There's 3 of the 4 that we change.
What are we talking for this?
They're around sort of £300–400 each.
Ouch. Okay, so these have all come directly from Bugatti.
Yeah.
Amazing, so cool. Okay, what are we going to do today then? What's the plan?
So we're going to change your engine oil and filter.
Okay.
The front tray's already off, the arch liner's already out, and then we'll lift the engine cover off, change an air filter, and yeah, we'll drain the main engine oil tank today. Won't go through all the drain plugs because it's a big procedure.
There's a few.
Takes a long time. The service itself is 4 to 5 days work.
Good. Okay, let's drain the oil in a W16.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Wow, look at all of this. You barely recognise it as an engine and a gearbox. And
yeah,
a diff
so a lot of misconceptions that they're tied in with VW. Obviously they are tied in with VW, but you'll struggle to find anything VW on this.
I guess that's one of the first things you guys will have looked for, and it just wasn't there.
Yeah, you hope they're not straightforward to service.
So you can straight up say this hasn't got the oil filter from a Passat.
Absolutely
or
not.
like that.
It's a bespoke oil filter for this car.
Your car probably has 2 or 3 drain plugs. A Veyron has 16. They're all over under here. This W16 has a dry sump system, so it has loads of little pockets of oil that need drained out. We're going to focus on the main one now.
Quite simple, I'll give you that. Bring that up close to its height.
And there's going to be a lot of oil in here.
There's going to be a lot of oil.
I've been told between 15 and 18 litres of oil in this.
Yeah, a touch more than that.
Bloody
a lot of it.
hell.
It takes a lot, and it's a real procedure to sort of get it all right. You don't want any drops in oil pressure, any dirty oil left anywhere else.
Have we got a big enough
That's fine
bucket?
for that, because obviously there's plenty of other drain bungs as well.
Okay. Again, there's a washer in here that...
Yeah, that's fine, that'll come with it. There we go.
You're an EB110 man.
I'm an
There's
EB110
3
man.
Veyrons in this garage right now, and there's 3 EB110s.
3 EB110s, yeah, which they use the EB110 chassis as the prototype for the Veyron as well.
Right.
So VW bought a EB110 when the factory went bankrupt, chucked an engine in the back of it, and that was the original mule for the Veyron, which not a lot of people are aware of.
So why is an EB110 a better car than a Veyron?
Better engineered from my perspective as a technician.
Okay.
Better to work on, nicer to work on. I think they're just a brilliant car.
And then the exhaust is an interesting one, because you've got these 2 lower exhausts coming through the diffuser here, and then the famous, big square one in the back here. So what's actually happening here?
That's all on the rear silencer. So effectively there's 2 tailpipes in there, you don't see them such. Yes, there's 4 channels inside the silencer, one for each turbo.
Right, of course, yes.
Yep.
Where are the turbos? Can you see
So
them?
turbos, we've got one just there. See the actuator, the recirc valve, and then the same lower down. And that mirrors across both sides.
While we're waiting for the oil to drain, let's have a look around Furlonger. They've not just got 2 Veyrons, but 3 Veyrons.
Yep.
EB110, 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 Diablo. Ferrari 275. F40 number 1, Murcielago that's missing a foot. They've got a Miura, Mercy SV and Standard, Top Gear spec. They're both outdone by a 575 Super America. Y'all know what this is. Tractor, Countach, F50, F50, F40, P1, 1988 Ferrari Formula 1 car. People on internet forums like to say that a lot of what's under here is VW and Audi. I'm afraid it's simply not the case. Virtually everything has a Bugatti sticker and a Bugatti part number on it. Now you can actually tell that if we come up the front here. The part numbers start with 5B, B for Bugatti, 5B, 5B, 5B. They're absolutely everywhere. Yes, when you really go granular on the car, there is some Volkswagen and Audi stuff, but you really have to look. The vast majority is bespoke Bugatti. Even on some of the stickers it says Bug Vey. That is just so cool to see. It keeps hammering home how iconic a car I'm currently standing under. It's so cool. Frickin' Veyron. All of the maintenance we're talking about is designed to protect those 250 mph beasts. And today's video sponsor, Surfshark, is here to protect you and your devices when online. Surfshark is a virtual private network, and a VPN is bloody good. Want more streaming options? Get a VPN. Want cheaper flights? Get a VPN. Better online security? Get a VPN. We're planning to shoot a bunch of videos over in Germany soon, the place where those Bugattis were originally engineered. And something that will instantly make my life easier when there is switching my VPN back to the UK. 1, to keep my logins happy, and 2, so I can keep streaming the content that I want to watch from my UK streaming accounts. Something I'm loving right now is Primal. It's a prehistoric animation on Channel 4, and I can switch my VPN back to the UK and keep binging 1,000 miles from home. Surfshark also has Kill Switch, which immediately disconnects your device from the internet if the VPN connection happens to drop out, keeping you and your device safe. Also within your Surfshark subscription, you'll get Clean Web that blocks ads, trackers and malware to protect your browsing from any unwanted eyes. For you guys, we have an exclusive offer to get 4 extra months free by heading to surfshark.com/DriveTribe or clicking the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on screen now. There's no risk trying Surfshark either. They've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get yourself a VPN, keep safe online, and watch Primal. It's good. Another famous factoid from the Veyron is the amount of radiators that it has. Something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid was count them. Let's start at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I think people count the 2 charge coolers on top of the engine. But Clarkson said there was 10 radiators, when in actual fact there's either 9 or 11. The next job I was allowed to have a crack at was an air filter change, which means removing the rear clamshell and opening up the iconic fin intakes.
Yeah, that's a Veyron.
Like, it screams Veyron
Yeah.
when you see these. One air filter changed.
We're all good.
With one side successfully changed, Chris left me to it with the other side. It's all incredibly simple stuff, but it's cool to be able to say I've got the tools out briefly on a Veyron. Something that you famously need to think about when servicing a Veyron are the wheels and tyres. Now, Bugatti recommends every 2 to 3 years you replace the tyres, and every 10,000 miles you replace the actual alloy wheels. Massive lift that goes all the way around here, and this is apparently a steel sort of reinforced bead. That is what keeps this rubber on that wheel at over 250 miles an hour. If my maths is correct and the stars align on a certain year, you could have to replace your tyres, 30 grand, your wheels, 40 grand, and then do your annual service, 20 grand. That's a £90,000 bill. And that's before you start talking spark plugs, which I gather are VW based, but coil packs that definitely aren't. Painful numbers. Matt, without manufacturer support, how have you managed to take on servicing these cars at Furlonger?
So we decided about 3.5 years ago, we had a Veyron in and we were looking at the servicing on them. And I think we all decided, well, actually we service their 50s, we service Enzos, we service Diablos, Murcielagos, why can't we service a Veyron? So we started looking into it, and that's how this project snowballed into what it is today, which is obviously us servicing these cars and looking after them. And look, they're not a simple car to service. It's not like you would just put them up on the ramp and know what to do. There's been a lot of research and development into it, but that's how we managed to do it, by taking one apart, understanding one. The Veyron's got some really convoluted systems, from the oil system to the hydraulic system that runs the suspension, brakes and stuff, and there's a lot to learn, but once you understand it, you know, they're a very cool, superly engineered machine.
Okay, so this is your Veyron here. This is the Simon Furlonger Veyron.
Well, this is one we've got in at the moment. I mean, they, you know, we buy and sell them, obviously, as well. That's another part of the business.
Okay, and values of these now, have they always stayed in 7 figures?
We've seen a resurgence in the last 12 months.
Okay.
You know, I think a good car was around 800 to a million maybe a year, 18 months ago. I think now you would pay, well, this is up for 1.3.
Right.
You know, and I think you would pay 1.2, 1.3 for a good car with a few kilometres, up to something like this that has just come in. I think that's the second to last 16.4 produced, and I think that's going to be around 1.65.
Okay, I'm going to get cheeky. How? I mean, I'm a Top Gear kid.
Okay.
How do we get a video on the roads with this car here?
We just need maybe a little bit of better weather. Because
Sure.
if you're gonna,
That's all-wheel drive.
it's not. It is, but yeah, if you lose traction, maybe. So it's
Okay.
probably better to maybe have slightly better weather, and then we could 100% let DRIVETRIBE take one out. And if you want to experience it, I'm sure we can make that happen.
My mind quickly starts to do some man maths. What cars can you buy for the price of a Veyron service? Straight on to Auto Trader. £20,000, over 500 horsepower. Okay, CL55 AMG, 20 grand. CL63 AMG, 20 grand. Lots of W12 Bentleys. You could say they're baby Bugattis. Continental GTs, Flying Spurs, all 19, 20 grand. BMW M6 Grand Coupe, very nice. An E60 M5, a 5-litre V10 super saloon car for the price of servicing this. Pick any of them or some oil and filters. That 20 grand is when you go through a Bugatti main dealer, of course. To make Veyron ownership more sensible, the guys and girls at Furlonger have helped UK Veyron customers out a lot, like 13 grand a lot. Through learning the car and iterating the servicing process, they've managed to get the bill down to a minuscule 7.5 grand. How have they managed to knock nearly 13 grand off the bill then? So Matt, the big headline internet number to service one of these oil service is 20 grand, but on the Furlonger website, you've got it down as 7.5. How have you made that possible?
The way we've sort of treated these cars is the way we've treated all the other supercars that we look after. You know, anything from the EB110s, we talked about F50s, Enzos, that sort of thing. So with the parts and the labour, you know, it's about a week's worth of work. And that's where we've come up with our price. You know, we haven't used anything else as a barometer. We've just taken what it takes us to do, how much it costs us, and that's where the prices come from.
What are these artifacts? I can tell these are going to be cool.
Yeah, so there's a few little accessories you get with Veyrons. So that is something quite cool. That is the Burmeister CD to check your sound system is in optimum condition.
Bugatti Test CD. So cool.
There's some interesting tracks in there. I think
Johann Bach, Benny Wallace, Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall is an official test for a Burmeister audio and a Veyron. You've got the Hewlett-Packard. At the time, that was for the telemetry, so the factory could read what the car was doing.
Yes.
It also actually sets the sat-nav, because a lot of people don't realise, although Veyrons don't have a screen in the actual cabin, the rearview mirror actually brings up the sat-nav map.
Back in 2005, they were doing that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like I say, the car's, it's incredible. So, and that's how you programmed it. And obviously, in period, that would feed data back to the factory.
Well, that's it. It was always said that if you did 250 miles an hour, the factory would know. So this is it. This is
that's their communication device, but like now it's more for the sat nav, but it did do that as well. And then this is a haloed speed key. So the speed key came in, obviously a nice little holder.
Look at that. But I imagine that gets lost quite easily. I reckon there's Veyrons kicking about that don't have their speed keys.
We've definitely seen Veyrons without speed keys. Yeah, it's not something that is with every car, that's for sure. You know, and the keys are famously ridiculously expensive to buy. I think these are about £10,000 to replace them. Oh my God.
Something we haven't touched on yet are the brakes, these carbon ceramics that slowed this car down from 250 miles an hour. Now on them is a minimum weight and a minimum thickness. They are checked during a service, and if it doesn't weigh enough or it's too thin, these need to go. That's going to be expensive. The Furlonger guys have given me the keys to their Veyron and I get to start it up. 11-year-old Michael is freaking out right now. I can tell you that a Veyron key is the same as your mum's Polo. Now, like all of you guys, we know how to start up a Veyron because we've seen it on the telly. 2 clicks of the key. Oh God, all the pump sounds. There's so much going on with this car. I'm gonna have to put down the window because I want to hear that W16. It doesn't scream into life, it bellows into life. Listen to that. There's no cylinder deactivation, that's the full 16 cylinders pumping away straight from the off. Now, I gather this is the handling mode button. When I click that, oh, it's happening, the wing's coming up. Oh, look at that. Oops, got a little whiff of the 4 turbos there. Oh God, sound. It's not like a Murcielago that's sitting there like super thoroughbred and screamy and revvy. It's got thunder to it. What a legend. What a car. For us lot, the Top Gear generation, the Veyron is the king. Yes, the Chiron and the Tourbillon have surpassed it, but this was our McLaren F1 moment. For me, no hypercar comes close. I will work on getting some Veyron driving content on the channel this year, and I would also like to invite the Furlonger guys and one of their cars down to DRIVETRIBE Live in August. So if you want to meet me, Richard, the DRIVETRIBE cars, and maybe a Veyron at Bicester, get your tickets. The link is in the description below. Veyron!